was an orphan of 9. I couldn't remember anything before that, like it was a lifetime ago. I do remember that I was taken in by an elderly shopkeep. A healer. She had these kind, golden-hued eyes. Celeste de Luna, she called herself. When she took me in, she immediately made use of the extra hands, having me help her run errands, pick and dry herbs, deliver salves to bedridden customers. She taught me the differences between salves and poultices, how to garden, grow, and tend. It wasn't long before I was nearly running the shop myself, proud kid that I'd become under her guidance. It was from her that I got my love of reading as well. Books of all kinds, books on sorcery, herbology, and wizardry. Books on heroic deeds, justice, and love. Books on gods, angels, demons, morality, and legends, all from an age-long past. I loved it all. And then I was 14, and suddenly, she was gone. No, not gone. Dead. I found her lying next to an old dark book inside a chalk circle in the basement. The book was held clamped in her arms and folded tightly across her chest, her eyes shut peacefully. She looked like she was sleeping, but there was no breath, no sound, no motion. Only me, the glow of candlelight, and the faint glimmer coming from the chalk. I moved to check on her, trying desperately to wake her, but she resisted my motion as if she were as heavy as stone. Entering the circle caused it to flare to life with energy, and I could feel something being pulled away from my body. As she had not taught me much of magic, I didn't know what this was. I fled back to my room, hopeless. There was no one else in my life. She was the closest, the kindest, and the only. Would she be like this forever? I thought to myself. A night had passed before I dared go back down in that basement. I convinced myself that she was probably just sleeping at first. I even made her a special cake to share with her when she awoke. I set up a small table nearby and pretended to offer her some tea and cake. She wouldn't reply, of course, but I pretended like things were normal. It was the most I could do. I poured myself a glass of honeyed milk, cut a slice of peppermint cake, and sang softly to myself. The song she had taught me about homeward-bound spirits, between mouthfuls of my teary dessert. Suddenly, something felt very, very wrong. My eyes blurred and my chest constricted. I felt as if I were being pulled away from my body. Again. I gripped the table fiercely, but it was to no avail. The circle around her pulsed with a harsh light, and I could see an alien form behind me, only a vague humanoid outline reaching towards me, its reflection visible only in the silver chalice before me, which seemed undisturbed by the violent winds. I could hear something ringing in my ears.
No, I won't let you have him.
A familiar voice cried, echoing in my ears, ringing. I felt tears spring to my eyes. Was it her? Had she awoken? Suddenly, the violent wind swirled around me and became gentler, almost like a caress. For a moment, it was like I could see those golden-hued eyes of hers again. In the reflection of the chalice, I turned to look, but nothing. No one was there. So I turned back to the chalice and saw her closer this time. In my reflection, she leaned down and pressed her cheek to my head, and I could feel it. I couldn't stop myself from crying now. What was this? Where have you been? I asked. And then she turned and gestured to the book, which lay folded upon her unmoving body, still lying on the floor. And just as suddenly, with motes of gathering light, she faded away. I turned to hug her, to squeeze her in my arms, but there was nothing, no one. I was alone, in the basement, as I had always been, next to her still, unmoving form. Numb to the world, I slept on the floor that night, dreaming of ghostly visages of the closest person I had, delivering some secret message just as she was spirited away by some unknown entity. Upon waking, I found the book was next to me, underneath my cheek somehow. In fact, I had been drooling on it. Shuffling it aside, I turned to find that she was still lying there, her hands pressed tightly across her chest, without the book. I took this as a sign, and from then on, I began to practice the craft, which had been forbidden to me since the incident. If she was still out there somewhere, there had to be a way to bring her spirit back.
Or black magic isn't black at all, but it isn't white either. Rather, something in between, like gray or silver. Since time immemorial, spirits have ruled this land, and it is with their blessings that magic is able to be done. So, if I want to start learning magic, I need to find spirits and convince them to help me. Easier said than done. How am I supposed to find a spirit? I don't even know where to look. Spirits can only be seen by those with the gift, those who have practiced the craft, those who they allow to see them, or those who have come into contact with special artifacts. As such, if you are a novice in the ways, the awakening is the best place to start. I better watch the time. I have a delivery I need to make soon. As like attracts like, and as we receive the same energy we put out into the universe, the awakening is a ritual done beneath a full moon to magnify this energy, turning your spirit into a beacon, an attractor to spirits of all kinds.
A full moon, huh? I think there's one in a few days, oddly enough.
They will become visible to you, and you will also become much more visible to them. Be warned, however, although this is the first step towards practicing the craft, it is difficult to control what types of spirits are drawn once this ritual has been performed, and, once awoken, it cannot be reversed. To do this ritual, you need a list of ingredients on the next page.
Oh boy. Sounds like this is something serious. I need to think carefully about this before I continue. It's almost time for that delivery. I should probably get ready, but I guess one more page wouldn't hurt. A chalice filled with stream water to represent the storm. A flame from any source to invoke the abyss. A handful of fresh earth to harness the ardor of nature. A natural wind or open sky to call down from on high the aether. And last but not least, a conduit for directing energies. You have the choice between a staff, a sword, or a wand. Staff, sword, or wand, huh? Which one would I pick?